President Trump announced plans to raise the global tariffs he imposed on Friday. This comes as the president.
More on the breaking news, Jake. So what are we learning about the president's sudden decision? I mean, this came down less than an hour and a half ago to raise the global tariffs to 15%.
Tonight, a major shift in U.S. trade policy. President Donald Trump has announced a sweeping new move, a 15% tariff on imports from every country in the world. Not just China, not just certain rivals. Every country. This comes after a major legal setback. The U.S. Supreme Court recently ruled that Trump's earlier broad tariffs were unlawful, saying he exceeded his authority under emergency powers. Instead of stepping back, Trump responded fast. He raised the tariff rate to 15% using a different legal pathway, one that allows temporary trade action without immediate approval from Congress. And tonight, businesses, foreign governments, and financial markets are reacting. This decision touches nearly every product entering the United States: cars, electronics, clothing, industrial materials, everyday goods. A 15% tariff means immediate higher costs for companies importing those products. And when business costs go up, prices often follow. Retailers and manufacturers are already running the numbers. Small businesses are watching closely. The question now, will this protect American industry, or will American families feel it at the checkout line? Supporters of the move say this is long overdue. Trump argues that the United States has been treated unfairly in global trade for years. He says foreign countries benefit from access to the American market while American workers lose jobs and factories. His message is clear: if companies want to sell in America, they should pay. He also sharply criticized the Supreme Court's decision that blocked his earlier tariff plan. But instead of giving up on tariffs, he shifted strategy and doubled down. This new 15% tariff replaces the previously announced 10% rate. And unlike targeted tariffs of the past, this one applies broadly. That wide reach is what makes this so significant. Trade experts warn that broad tariffs can ripple through supply chains. Many American companies rely on imported parts to build products domestically. If input costs rise, final product prices can rise too. And in an economy where inflation has already been a sensitive issue, even small increases in prices can become politically explosive. Markets are watching carefully. Investors worry about retaliation. If the United States raises tariffs on every country, other governments could respond with tariffs on American goods. That could impact U.S. exports, including agriculture, manufacturing, and technology. During past trade conflicts, American farmers and manufacturers were caught in the middle when foreign nations imposed counter tariffs. Could that happen again? It's possible. Allies in Europe and Asia are now reviewing the policy. Trade partners are assessing how it affects agreements and supply chains. Business groups have expressed concern that a universal tariff could disrupt global commerce. At the same time, some domestic manufacturers may benefit if imported goods become more expensive compared to American-made products. That's the central argument behind the policy: protection. Trump says this move levels the playing field. Critics say it risks starting a broader trade conflict. There's also the legal dimension. The Supreme Court's earlier ruling made clear that emergency powers have limits. Now Trump is relying on a different statute that allows temporary tariffs of up to 15% for a limited period. But legal experts say challenges could still come. Congress may also weigh in. Some lawmakers argue that tariff power ultimately belongs to Congress, not the executive branch alone. So this story is not just about economics, it's about presidential authority. It's about how much power one administration can use to reshape global trade. And it's about how quickly those decisions impact everyday Americans. If companies absorb the tariff cost, profits shrink. If they pass it on, consumers pay more. If other countries retaliate, American exporters could suffer. Each outcome carries consequences. Meanwhile, businesses must make immediate decisions. Do they rush shipments before full implementation? Do they shift suppliers? Do they raise prices? The uncertainty itself creates pressure. Financial markets often react strongly to trade shifts. Even the possibility of a prolonged trade dispute can cause volatility, and politically the timing matters. Trade policy has long been a dividing line in American politics. Some voters support aggressive protection of domestic industries. Others fear global isolation and rising consumer prices. This 15% universal tariff reignites that debate. Supporters see strength. Critics see risk, but one thing is certain: this is one of the most sweeping tariff announcements in recent years. Every country affected, every sector watching, every major retailer evaluating impact. From Wall Street to Main Street, the implications are serious. The administration argues this policy encourages companies to manufacture inside the United States. If imports cost more, domestic production may become more competitive. But building new factories and reshaping supply chains takes time, often years. In the short term, pricing adjustments happen much faster. That's why economists say the first visible effect may show up in costs, not construction. At the same time, trade partners could seek negotiations instead of retaliation. Diplomatic talks may attempt to avoid escalation. So what happens next? First, expect more legal scrutiny. Court challenges could emerge quickly. Second, watch Congress. Lawmakers may introduce measures either supporting or limiting tariff authority. Third, monitor foreign response. Retaliatory tariffs or emergency trade talks could shift the landscape again. And fourth, watch prices. If everyday goods begin climbing noticeably, political pressure could increase. For now, the 15% tariff stands as a bold and controversial move. It follows a direct clash with the Supreme Court. It signals a continued push for aggressive trade enforcement. And it places global markets on alert. This is more than a policy adjustment. It's a signal to the world that American trade policy may be entering a more confrontational phase once again. Supporters say it restores leverage, opponents warn it risks escalation. Businesses are calculating, foreign governments are responding, and American families may soon see whether this decision strengthens the economy or tightens household budgets. This story is developing. Legal battles could follow. Diplomatic negotiations could begin. Market reactions may shift in the coming days. But tonight, one thing is clear. The United States has just raised tariffs to 15% on imports from all countries, and the global economic impact could be significant. Stay tuned.